The $2,000 stimulus check from the president as he was out in the Oval Office today taking questions from reporters, and he gave us a little more indication as to when we may be seeing this $2,000, or according to what he said today, thousands of dollars in these dividend payments. In other words, stimulus check payments. Now, I want to give you a quick little update on what the president just said today from the Oval Office on these stimulus checks. Again, another day, another update on the $2,000. This is everywhere out there, by the way. Like, a ton of people are talking about this, as in people within the administration. Over the weekend, we heard from Scott Bessent. Last week, we heard from all kinds of people, the president multiple times, the Treasury Secretary multiple times, the press secretary at least once. We heard from the economic advisor. We're hearing from all kinds of people, which, by the way, I am compiling all of these different video clips for you, and I'll bring those all to you. But yeah, a lot of high-profile people, lawmakers, representatives, senators, all kinds of people within the administration coming out, giving regular updates like pretty much every day. We're seeing multiple updates on this $2,000, and again, this is a hot-button issue. This is super interesting. So if you're just joining right now, yes, another new update out of the president today, just a short time ago, as he was in the Oval Office and answering questions out of reporters on the $2,000. He indicated when we may be seeing this money. Now, before I tell you the details about this, I just want to make this very clear. This is the preliminary plan as of right now. They really don't know as far as when all of this is going to hit, right? It could be relatively soon. It could be significantly later. We really don't know. We don't know. They don't know. They're just kind of winging it as they go right now, okay? They don't have a solid plan on this thing yet, okay? So I know there's going to be a lot of discouraged people out there like, wait, we're not getting it next week? No, there was never a plan to get it next week at all. They've never said next week, okay? But anyway, I want to give you the latest updates as far as what the president said, and stay tuned on this, by the way. There's things that are developing every single day on this infamous $2,000, and as I like to continue to say on this thing, they're committing so hard on this that like it almost has to be like a certain thing at this point. Reason being is, if they don't do it, I mean, seriously, I've said this so many times, if they don't do this, considering how much they've committed to this, I don't know what they're going to say for an excuse on that, but there's just going to be a lot of very, very upset people out there if they don't follow through. For example, how much they are pushing this and how much they are really, really telling us that this thing is coming. So, really good stuff. Anyway, let me tell you what the president said today. Again, from the Oval Office on this $2,000, okay? So somebody asked him about, again, the tariffs. Remember, all of these will be funded from the tariffs. That's the whole idea here, is taking that tariff revenue, peeling off about 300, so let me take that back, roughly $600 billion of the tariff revenue, and then sending that back to us in the form of these dividend payments, in other words, stimulus checks. One quick side note, by the way. Over the weekend, yesterday, the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was out as well, made that statement. I had a video for you highlighting that clip of the Treasury Secretary mentioning that. I've seen a number of comments on that. Hang tight here. I'm going to answer some of those questions as well. I've seen a lot of people reaching out saying, it's just for this one group of people. Hang on a second here. We'll talk about that more in just a minute, okay? I would not get discouraged about that at all. What he said, let's come back to that here in just a minute. Okay, anyway. President was out today, and he indicated the $2,000, or as he indicated, the thousands of dollars going out in these dividend payments, likely coming sometime in the middle of next year, or possibly a little bit later than the middle of next year. Gee, that's real shocking. That's real shocking. You know why? What's happening next year about, 11 and a half months from right now? What do you think? You know what it is, the midterm elections. I've been saying this for months. What are they going to do right before the midterms? They're going to bait the hook, right? How are they going to bait the hook? It's called a couple $1,000s, right? And again, this is no shock. Lawmakers do this, or, this happens all the time in front of major elections. It's not an uncommon thing. We saw this a few years ago. They baited the hook on the last stimulus checks that we got as well, okay? So that's where all those came from. Not all of them, but the last one, the $1,400, that's where that one came as well. And most likely part of the $600, the second stimulus check we got. Anyway, I don't want to sit here and make some political statements. That's not the focus of this channel, not the focus of this video, but it's just kind of interesting. Now, again, Before we all get all bent out of shape on this and say, oh man, I need it right now, which, totally fair. We all need it right here, right now. But before we get too worked up about that, just think of it this way. They don't have a solid plan on this. They keep winging it. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, they literally continue to wing it on this whole thing. They don't have a solid proposal written up. They don't have a definitive plan on this yet as far as when this money is going to be distributed. They don't know yet. Here's what I want to point out as well. Let's just say that the economy crashes and burns in the next 2 weeks or the next month or something before the end of the year, right? We've only got about 6 weeks left of the year. What if the economy comes in and crashes and burns? Do you think they're just going to let it ride and say, oh, we'll distribute stimulus here in the next, 6 or 8 months? No. They would provide stimulus practically immediately because that's what they do. However, when it comes down to the distribution of these dividend payments because of the tariff revenues, provided the economy does not crash and burn, provided the economy is fine for the next, call it 8 or whatever months, however many months, if it is all fine, then okay, maybe they distribute these dividend payments, in the middle-ish or, later-ish next year. Again, perfectly timed right in front of the midterm elections, right? Surprise, surprise, huge shock that they're talking about that. And again, we've been talking about this forever. We all know how this game is played. And again, I'm not here to make political statements. I'm not here to take political sides, but you know how this goes, right? Unfortunately, because of what I talk about here on the channel, some of it does have to get a little bit political, but I try to be as neutral as I possibly can because I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to do. I'm just here to give you information. But anyway, very interesting. So anyway, President out today, again, give you a quick little recap here. President was out today in the Oval Office taking questions from reporters and indicated the $2,000 stimulus, the $2,000 dividend likely coming sometime the middle of next year, later in the summer, maybe early fall. Again, shocker, right? Huge shock. Okay, but anyway, I would not get too discouraged about that. Anything could happen at any given time. I'm not saying it's coming next week, and I'm not saying we have to wait until the end of summer next year at all. We definitely may not need to. We may. Who knows? We really don't know, and they don't know the details on that yet either, okay? There's many different things that they could do here to issue this payment soon, or they could wait a long time. Again, remember, there's many different catalysts. Over the last couple months here, I've had multiple videos out talking about all the different catalysts that are on the table right now that could issue this type of stimulus. And again, I said this 2 months ago. I said I would be shocked if there is not some type of stimulus check or some type of payment back to us literally in the next 12 months, okay? Reason for all the catalysts I've been mentioning for the last several months here, and this is one of them, which is the midterm, okay? But anyway, it's not all about that either. Okay, so that's what the president indicated today, and again, indicating the thousands of dollars. We'll see what it actually turns out to be. Remember, the distribution of, say, $2,000 to roughly 85% of the population is what it's being determined as of right now, would be about 284 million people, roughly, give or take a little bit. We don't know where dependents land on that whole scale as well. We don't know. They have not indicated where dependents would land on that, but roughly 284 million people. Okay, 284 million people multiplied by $2,000 a person would be roughly $568 billion. It's a lot of money. That's basically 2 years worth of tariff collections, nearly 2 years worth of, say, $350 billion a year. We need to take virtually all of that money and distribute that back in the form of a dividend. It's a lot of money. Just like the president has indicated, nearly $600 billion is what it would take to distribute this money to roughly 85% of the population. As you can tell, it's a huge percentage of the population. It's a lot of people out there. So we'll see what other further details come out about this whole thing. But there's a lot of people that are jumping behind this, okay? A lot of people that are getting on board with this. Many different lawmakers. In fact, just over the weekend and today alone, we had, 3 or 4 different lawmakers, the Treasury Secretary. I have all the clips on my phone of these people. I'm gathering all these clips of them talking and throwing their support behind this. I'm going to present a video to you with all of these clips compiled, and I'm going to present that to you here soon so you can see it for yourself of everything the president has said, all of these different individuals coming out, okay? Anyway, wait for that. We'll talk about that, and we'll cover that in a separate video. Okay, let's talk about this super fast here. Over the weekend, actually just yesterday, I had a video clip of the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. He was out yesterday, again, in another interview, and he indicated some more details on this dividend stimulus, whatever you want to call it, okay? And one thing that he said in that interview, and a lot of people are getting bent out of shape about this, and I want to be here to say, don't worry about what he says on this, okay? And I know a lot of people really get caught up on the details, as in some of the language that they're using here. Let me tell you exactly what the Treasury Secretary said just yesterday in that interview, okay? And I want to preface this by saying, when I quote or say what he said, do not let this bother you. Let me explain for a minute. He said it would be going to working families, okay? I've seen a number of comments reaching out saying, man, working families, I'm on Social Security, go figure, they're not going to do this for us. Okay, let me say this much. Has nothing to do if you're working or not. They don't give a rip if you're working or not. It has nothing to do if you're working. The analogy that I've given before in other videos, they don't go around and call people and knock on doors and say, hi, are you working? Do you have a job? And you say, no, I'm a retiree on Social Security. And they say, sorry, you don't get a check. That's not how this goes. That's not at all how this goes. All they look at is your income compared to the threshold that they put in place. That's it. Income, okay? And what I've said before in other videos is this. They put an income threshold in place. Maybe it's 75 grand for an individual. Maybe it's 150 for a married couple. We don't know. They've indicated under 100 grand, but I would anticipate that number to come down. I think that's just a threshold. I think it's a placeholder that they're putting in place to basically say, like, yeah, if you're earning over 100 grand, you're definitely not going to get this. I think it's basically just a placeholder as of now. I really think they're going to bring it down to probably 75 grand as an individual, 150 as a married couple. We don't know for sure, but that's what I anticipate. Okay, the only question you need to know the answer to is this. Is your income under 75 grand as an individual or under 150 as a married couple? That's the only question you need to answer. Yes or no, okay? That's all you need to know. Is your income below that threshold? And you might be thinking, but I'm not working. I'm on Social Security. I'm on SSI. Who cares? Doesn't matter. That's not the question I asked. The question I ask is your income below the threshold of 75 grand as an individual or 150 as a married couple? That's it. That's all it really comes down to, okay? I know a lot of people are really getting bothered by some of this language, like it's only for working families. No, that's not how they do it. That's not how they do these stimulus checks. Let me tell you, let me enlighten you for just a second. I'm going to tell you this much. When I say this, a lot of you here are probably going to say, I don't care about any of this, but I'm going to tell you, the 3 stimulus checks that we got back in 2020 and 2021, the $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400, it was an advance of a refundable tax credit that would show up on your federal tax return. Huh? What does that mean? Here's what it is. If you file a tax return, and again, so many people get caught up on this as well. Don't worry about this. It does not matter whatsoever about this. Here's the deal on this. If you file a tax return, there's a couple different types of credits. There's a refundable tax credit and there's a non-refundable tax credit. A refundable tax credit means even if your income is 0, you still get a check cut to you. That's literally what the stimulus checks are. It's an advance. They advance you the cash on a refundable tax credit. Okay? A non-refundable tax credit means if your income is 0 and you have the credit available, well, a non-refundable means you don't get anything, as in a check cut to you in the event of your income being zeroed out, or if you can't take advantage of that credit, okay? The point is, stimulus checks are literally an advance of cash. They front you the cash of a refundable tax credit that would show up on your tax return for the IRS, right? Your federal tax, your federal tax return. That's it. And now you might be thinking, because I get this question all the time as well, which is, I don't file a tax return. Again, who cares? Doesn't matter. That's not what this is all about. If you don't file a tax return, what that tells me is that your income is below the standard deduction, meaning your income is 0 on paper. That's literally what that means, right? In the eyes of the government, your income is 0 if you don't file a tax return. It goes back to my original question that I asked a couple minutes ago. What is your income compared to the threshold? Is your income below the threshold they put in place? That's all you need to worry about is that. That's it, okay? I know a lot of people get so worried about this, saying, we're going to be left out, we're not going to be included, they're going to leave us out on this again. I would not worry about that for even a single second whatsoever. Here's the thing. Let me make another point behind this, and let me break this down very logically for you right now. Okay, the president indicated today from the Oval Office, as the reporter asked about these $2,000 payments. The president indicated middle of next year, later in the summer/early fall next year. President indicated that. Perfectly timed right before the midterm election. Do you think logically, let's think through this logically now, okay? Do you think as a vote gathering exercise, because this is what it's going to be, right? And again, whatever. Again, I'm not here to take political sides. I'm not here to make political statements. I'm just telling you the facts. That's what this is, okay? It's an attempt to get votes. We know this, okay? It's no shock whatsoever. Lawmakers do this. Presidents do it. It's no shock. I'm not trying to make a political video. I'm telling you the facts here. But here's the thing. Right in front of a potential vote gathering exercise here, do you really think they're going to come out, logically thinking here, do you think they're going to come out and say, only working families are going to get this? All of you on Social Security, you're not going to get this. That would be the dumbest political move in the absolute world. Not a chance, right? Who shows up to vote in the largest numbers, the largest cohort of people that show up to vote? Who do you think it is? Yeah, retirees, Social Security beneficiaries, seniors, right? Do you think they're going to say, you're not going to get the $2,000? Not a chance in HE double hockey sticks. You know that, right? Okay? So again, for all the people that are very worried, like, we're not going to be counted on this, we're not going to get this, wouldn't worry about it for even a second whatsoever. That's not how these things work, okay? So anyway, I just want to break this down. I want to spend a few more minutes with you here in this live stream really fast and just talk about the details of this, because so many people are concerned about this. And again, I see your comments and why I want to spend some time with you in this live stream right here and talk about all of these details about it, just so you're aware of this. And again, they're not just going to come out with some random language and be like, well, everyone's going to get this except for fixed income. That would be like the most ridiculous thing in the world. They would not do that. They've never done that, right? Okay, here's the thing as well. Here's what's super interesting. Look it up if you don't believe me on this. Back in 2009, they issued a dedicated $250 check just to Social Security back in 2009. Okay, so what is that? 16 years ago? I believe it was in May of 2009. I could be off a month or two on the date or on the exact distribution of that. 2009, they issued a dedicated $250 check just to Social Security. My point with that is that they do offer payments to sometimes dedicated just to Social Security and fixed income beneficiaries. I also want to point this out. Back in 2020, 2021, were Social Security, retirees, people with disabilities, Social Security, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, VA, RRB, were all of you and all of these individuals I just mentioned included for all the three checks in 2021 and 2020? Answer is yes. Yes, absolutely you were included on those, okay? Obviously, in some rare instances, some people may not have been included if they were claimed as an adult dependent, or maybe the representative payee took it on them and didn't tell them, or maybe it was garnished for back taxes owed to the IRS, or maybe it was garnished for back child support, things like that. But for the most part, the vast majority of people got that money. Yes, absolutely is the answer, okay? Anyway, I want to do what I can for you. As I've said and as I've promised you, I will continue to bring you updates on any of this as it's coming out right now. I know I just dropped a video like literally a half an hour ago talking about the food stamp situation. As I was literally preparing that video, this information on the stimulus came across and I was like, gotta jump on a live stream because that's my promise and my dedication to you. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to keep you posted on this. I want to give you the details as it's coming across here. President was just out today. Again, quick little recap for you in case you're jumping on here live right now. President was out today from the Oval Office, reporters asking him all kinds of questions. He indicated, yep, the $2,000, the dividend, the payment, the stimulus, the rebate, whatever you want to call it, name does not matter, thousands of dollars for people, likely to be distributed sometime in the middle of next year. Okay, that's what they're saying now. I also want to emphasize this, because I know a lot of people need this money like right now, okay? I'm definitely not saying it's coming right now today. I'm definitely not saying it's coming this week or even next week. In fact, I wouldn't anticipate that, so please don't get your hopes up on that. But here's what I would indicate. There's many different factors that could get this money distributed significantly faster, okay? I'm not promising anything. All I'm saying is that just because he said that today does not really mean a whole lot. I'm just being fair with you. There's so many different catalysts, as I've been pointing out for months, that could really indicate and really distribute this money significantly faster, like a slowdown / contraction / recession in the economy, which we may already be in right here, right now, that a lot of people are anticipating. If that happens and comes into fruition in the next couple months here, guess what's going to happen? A whole lot of money printing and a whole lot of money pushed out. They're going to pull out the dozers and say, everybody, line up. We're going to doze a bunch of cash to you. In other words, we're going to go out in the helicopters and we're going to throw wads of cash out into the air, and whoever catches it gets it. Obviously, not literally, but, figuratively speaking, it's going to be helicopter money again. If the economy goes down to any degree, they're going to plow out all kinds of money to all of us, and it's going to be crazy. If you thought a couple years ago was nuts with them printing $6 trillion, wait until next time. They're probably going to do $15 trillion. It's going to be absolutely nuts with what we're going to see this next time around, because what's going to happen? The need is going to be greater, the crisis is going to be greater, and all it's going to call for is more and more and more stimulus, more money to be printed and provided. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Anyway, I could sit here and ramble on about this for hours. It is very fascinating with all the things that are happening. But anyway, quick little recap for you there. I hope this helps you. And again, I'll continue to keep you posted on all this. If you have not done so, please consider subscribing. Big subscribe button right down below. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching this. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel. If you're on food stamps, SNAP benefits, check out that video that I just posted literally 30 minutes before I started this video right here, this live stream. Check that out. Otherwise, stay tuned. I guarantee we will get more updates in the last week. In the last, 8 days? We've received 10 or a dozen different updates from the president, the treasury secretary, the economic advisor, the press secretary, from senators, from representatives, you name it. They're on the list, and I'm grabbing all of their clips of them speaking, and yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to present that video to you with all of them talking about it, including the president in multiple instances, so you can see it for yourself. Anyway, I hope this helps you. And again, as we get more information, I'll continue to be here for you. Drop your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Whatever you got for me, I will come back in dedicated videos, in dedicated live streams. I'll do my very best to answer those for you. Again, if you're feeling discouraged about what is being said about this, do not be discouraged, okay? I know it's easy for me to say, to sit here and be like, oh, don't be discouraged. You'll be fine. You'll get it. Here's the thing. They're just talking about what's going to happen here as of right now, according to the preliminary proposals and ideas that are out there now, okay? My point being is this. Just because they make remarks like, oh, it's for working families, or, oh, it's going to be just for people that file a tax return. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all, okay? That's not how this goes. It's not how it goes, okay? They distribute money to huge percentage of the population based on income. That's all it's about. Income, okay? If your income is below the threshold, winner, you get yourself a check. That's all it comes down to. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Again, please subscribe if you've not done so. Share the video, big share button down below. Stay tuned. I'll continue to keep you updated as more information comes across right now. It's a very busy time. Honestly, the last month has been very busy. November has been really interesting. Let's just say that much, right? And it's not going away anytime soon. All right, anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe. Stay tuned. I guarantee you we're getting more updates this week. It's going to be a crazy week. Thursday's going to be nuts, by the way. We're going to get some of that data that they did not announce for the last couple months here because of the government shutdown. Some of it is coming out on Thursday. That's going to be nuts. All right, anyway, please enjoy. I'll probably catch you again later in another video or live stream. Please have a nice evening, and I'll catch you again later. All right, if you're joining live right now, you may want to click off. I'm just telling you now. I'm going to unplug the mic when I do. My phone starts talking because I'm blind, and it's the only way I can work my phone is when it talks, and it sounds kind of funny. So here you go. You can listen if you want to, but here it's going to talk. Here we go. Finish. All right, we'll see you later. Ah, dang. Happens every time. All right.